Gundur gazed out upon the dank and dark waters of the grey flood and scowled. He hated this place. His mind wandered to the days of his youth in Dunland. He could almost feel the crisp mountain air on his face as he slipped deeper into thought. He recalled the scent of fresh pine caught on the wind, and the sounds of gentle rivers and grazing livestock. Home. It had been too long since he last saw the rolling hills of Dunland, and he found an anger building inside of him. Dragged from his home on the promises of glory and riches, the White Hand had pushed many of his friends further west, and he was no different. The embers of his anger broke his stupor, and the humidity of the place hit him like a wall. He would never get used to the constant sweating, the heavy breathing, gasping for air, and filling your lungs with nothing but heat. He hated this place. The sun was rising high above him and casting its light across the waters of the Grey Flood and Swan Fleet. The quagmire where the rivers met was abuzz with the sounds of insects and beasts, and Gundur could practically smell that place from his watchpost above the northern gate. His attention was suddenly caught by a bright flash of light on the road from the north, a shape moving on southward and dazzling him as it approached. Straining, he saw it was an outrider, hurtling along the road at full pace. Gundur wasted no time and blew a loud, clear note on the horn around his neck. The low sound of insects and frogs was broken by the mustering of men at the gate. A second horn blast answered his own from within the city behind him, and the great northern gate of Tharbad swung open. A column of dour, heavily armed men marched from the gate and out into the field beyond. Behind them, looking as forlorn as he always did, came Chieftain Ninain. Gundur could not help but feel that someone else should hold that man's position. He looked long over the form of his chieftain and spat in disgust. The man was a thin strip of nothing, and Gundur often thought a strong breeze would likely blow him over. Ninain walked with a sense of superiority and pride that he had certainly not earned, and he spoke to his subjects always with scorn. He blamed the recent misfortunes of Dunland on his own people, and did not own up to his part in the downfall. When Dunlerac was besieged by an army of traitors, Ninain sat in Tharbad and did nothing. He sat and let Dunlendings die, and then had the audacity to proclaim that they died because they were weak. He had sent an army to assist them at first, but then issued new orders to not aid the city. He abandoned the defenders to their death. When Aragorn came out of the north at the outset of this war, Ninain fled from Beirig and abandoned the city to the coming army. When the then chieftain Yagthak learnt that Ninain had fled, it was said he tore Ninain's house down brick by brick with his bare hands before falling in defense of the city. A true hero. Were it not for the power of the White Hand and the decree that was issued by his messengers, the people would not have taken Ninain as chieftain. But here we are. Led by a fool at the whims of a mad wizard. Gundur spat again in disgust. The outrider had now reached the column of guards beneath Gundur's position, and Ninain had arrived to take the message. From his lofty post, Gundur couldn't hear much, but what he did hear hit him like a stone. The enemy is at the walls of Kaloniach. Gundur felt his knees shaking and his heart beating faster and faster. He had avoided the ravages of the so-called Free Peoples until now. He had been posted to the watch at Tharbad shortly after the ruined city was retaken, and he had not yet had a chance to meet the enemy on the field. Now, it would seem, he wouldn't get that chance, as the enemy would soon be at his own door. Kaloniach was but a short ride north, and the castle had been given a paltry defence. Yes, the invaders would make short work of that place, and be before Tharbad's walls long before help could come up from the south. Gundur was ready to meet the enemy. He was ready to fight in the name of his brothers and sisters who had been cut down mercilessly by the coming invaders. He was ready to fight and die for his beloved Dunland, but he knew that despite the rhetoric spouted by the heralds of Ninain, Dunland had already lost. Beirig was now in the hands of the goblins. Dunyard was held by the filthy fishermen of the west, and Dunlerac had been burnt to the ground. Dunland had lost. He was ready to die for Dunland if it would secure a future for his people. But this, dying in defense of this ruinous place, far from Dunland, and dying in defence of that pathetic excuse of a man. He couldn't do it. He would not do it. He returned to his post and looked long over the people beneath him. He looked over the marshes to the east and the long arm of the river running west. He looked at the ruins of Tharbad and the rickety bridge across the river, in poor imitation of the stone bridge that now sat on the river bed. He looked away east, to the high peaks of the mountains, and a gentle breeze brushed against his face. The faint scent of pine caught in his nostrils, and his decision was made. He waited until the fanfare had died away and the outrider, guards, and chieftain had all returned to the city. Gundur was once again alone, on guard outside the city, guarding what he thought, guarding nothing but a dying dream. A fool's dream. He picked up the small pack behind him and clambered down the tower. At the base he gave a quick look to the makeshift walkways on the walls behind him. All was clear. With his heart beating almost out of his chest, he saw his chance, and sprinting at full pace, he beelined for a small thicket just beyond the site of the watchtower and away from the road. He knew he would likely be seen, but there was no archer in Dunland that could fire clear across this gap at a moving target, and none likely to try it anyway. What is one more traitor to them, he thought. Traitor. As he thought it, he almost pulled up. The word tasted wrong on his tongue and in his mind. Would he really be a traitor? He stopped, suddenly, on the open field, paralyzed at the thought. He wasn't a traitor, he thought to himself. A traitor betrays his people. A traitor puts thought of himself above his country. A traitor cares nothing for his kin. Gundur was no traitor. Gundur was devoted to Dunland. He believed in the power of the land and the people who lived there. What he did for Dunland. After what seemed like an age, Gundur began to run again, and as he ran he could hear shouts and cries from the walls behind him. He hit the tree line and did not stop running. Deeper and deeper into the woods he went. He would head northwest, he thought. He had heard that the rangers kept a watch over the Sarn Ford, and no Dunnish scout had yet come back from that place. That was his best hope now. Yes, he thought as he ran. I will happily die for Dunland, but not the Dunland that sits in Tharbad and barks orders at scared children. I will die for the Dunland that was, the Dunland that will be. I will die for a Dunland that has a future. Even if, for now, that Dunland must bow to the Dunedain. My Govanen Melonin, and well met indeed. I'm Arachea Galadirthan, and welcome back to Middle-earth. As we continue on as the Dunedain, I was going to say a video recreation of Middle-earth, but I couldn't think of the words in my head. I do hope you enjoyed the little intro today. It took me a long time to write today's intros because I really was not sure how I wanted to go about it, but then when it hit me to play as a traitorous, for want of a better word, I don't think Gundur is traitorous, personally, but it depends on what your view of Dunland is, but I thought to write it from their point of view and then have him join Halbrad later on is a much better way, and I thought that was a more interesting angle to play from. Also, I appreciate we aren't currently actually at the walls of Koloniak, but we will be as soon as I've hit the end turn button. I apologise for the messed up minimap. I had to alt-tab at the start, and when you alt-tab it always does this. It'll sort itself out after a battle. Yes. Now, the King of the Dead. Some of you have suggested I should use the King of the Dead to claim Eastern Osgiliath so that when we form the Reunited Kingdom, we get the benefit of that upgrading automatically, and I do see there being merit in that. My gut feeling, though, just from how I want to play and like to play, was to take Isengard, because then that would completely neuter Isengard. So we would lose Eastern Osgiliath upgraded, granted, but the King of the Dead would smash the city of Isengard, or the capital, or the tower of Isengard, which would completely cut the legs off of Isengard the faction, allowing Rohan to sweep them away, meaning that a third of our job is already done for us without us having to get involved. However, that said, we haven't actually fought against Isengard on the channel for a while now, whereas we've fought against Mordor a few times, so I am going to change my plan. And the King of the Dead and his army of invincible ghost warriors They're not actually invincible, but you would nothing other than a catapult really actually ever kills them. But his army of ghost warriors will go east. We will take Eastern Osgiliath, and then what I will try and do with him is push him in. I don't know if him being in a defensive battle counts as a battle. I would assume it does. My knowledge of scripting and coding there, unfortunately, is a little lax, and I don't know. I don't know if you can set the condition to be either any battle he's a part of, whether he's an aggressor or whether he's a defender. But I should think you probably can set it to just be any battle, and I imagine that it is exactly that, any battle. Thereby, once he's fought 3 times, I do not think, in any regard, whether they're aggressive, whether he's the aggressor or defender, I think he will go. But that's the plan. Oh, look, Angmar didn't go for Ostsul, so we're hemorrhaging money for almost no reason.
My lord. Your orders.
Where are they going to go, then?
My lord.
Why are you bypassing the region I want you to attack, you stupid bastards? Now, if we move the army out
My lord.
to hit that fellow, well, what we'll have to do is leave 1 unit in Ostsul.
Orders.
Let's deal with the Angmar force then, so because you guys can't get to the castle anyway in time.
To battle.
Right, so there we are. We're at the walls. We're going to have to fight him, but let's move the army of the dead away. Let's just get that bit underway.
Move.
Move!
As you command.
As you command.
Stop.
No one in their right mind attacks the army of the dead. We want to just have a proper in-depth look at their stats. 53 is their attack. There are 250 of them. They have 9 experience to start the game off. They're effective against armor. They frighten nearby enemy infantry. They can't hide. They have excellent stamina, powerful charge. 157 total defense is insanity. 10 hit points as well. So even if your lowly peasant militia manages to attack them 76 times, which is what you would imagine the worst case scenario for 1 peasant militia versus 1 ghostman would be, and he does enough damage to break through and actually kill one of the buggers, there are 9 more lives to go, and each life is its own separate dice roll. So there is not a chance. Other than catapults, actually, they seem to have a way to do it. They're usually... Catapults are the only thing that break the system, but in melee, those knights, those undead bastards, will not fall to anything. It only takes siege, or in some rare cases in the past, the Balrog used to be able to kill them as well.
My lord.
But in any other situation, they are near invincible. Right. If I move you there. And then they can join you. And then you can attack. Yes. Dun 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 dun. No archers. Absolutely not a diddly between them. Fan-bloody-tastic. Archer, 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 archer. All the archers you could ever need, and then we'll just run them around for a bit. The pikes are slow-moving, so we should be able to get them. Obviously, they walk faster than other things, but they run slower than other things. So we should be able to get them picked off. The savages are going to be a bit of a problem, and the infantry and the thralls both have hefty shield bonuses. So,
attack!
But let us test our mettle against these northern fools. Fools, I tell thee, fools. Also, I was thinking about this morning. I shouldn't have Gundur. This is so random, I appreciate, but in the script, when Gundur is sprinting for the tree line after climbing down the Tower of Tharbad, he says, he thinks in his mind that he's a traitor, and I write that it almost made him pull up. It almost makes him stop. And then in the very next sentence, I then actually have him stop, and I should have rewritten that so that he just stopped. There wasn't a threat of him stopping and then him stopping. He should have just stopped. But when you read these things back for the 4th, 5th, 6th time, there's always new things you think, oh, should have done that different. Oh, should have done that different. Right, I don't know why I've moved back to that hill, because we have to attack them. So let us move on them. Now, if they've got any brains in their little roster, they'll stand on this hill over here. But because they don't have any archers, it really doesn't matter where they stand. They can't do anything, which means they might start just right out in front of us. Which would be a bit of a pain. Because then we are immediately having to face them down. Ah, yes, that they did. They did. I wonder if they will move on us entirely, or if they'll... I'm not really sure as yet. All of our melee units are hidden in the trees. But I don't really know what their plan is. If you can fire, feel free to fire. What is that moving in on us? Oh, the pikemen. Oh, of course. Pikemen always beeline ahead, don't they? Oh, that's good. Yeah, let's get them killed off. So we've got 2 units of Hillmen that I'm going to use all of my melee might on. And then these ones we're going to have to try and kite with our archers. But if you would try and bring down as many of the pikes as you can first. When these erupt from the trees, it will give them pause for thought. It's just when do you erupt them from the trees, very much the question. I say, let's go now. Try and get these to flank, and you just move out that way and give them something to think about. I purposefully don't put my units on skirmish mode because, twofold. Number one, skirmish mode is actually rather broken. And whilst for the AI it seems to work almost all the time, for a human player, there's just something wrong with skirmish mode, and your units will quite frequently not actually skirmish properly. The part of them will run away, and the other part won't run away, and they'll get caught in melee, and it's very, very frustrating. All right, they're in position. Get the flank round. We've pulled one of those in as well. Savages there. I think it might be prudent to offer up that archer militia as a sacrifice. Angry and infantry. You can take down those pikemen, surely. Rudau's savages. Alright, come and clear these Hillmen out, and then you can nip back and help them. We can't look at them for too long, because we've got to watch what's going on down here. Keep them at a distance. Oh, those pikes are just going to die off. They don't like just being generally near us. They're turning on them as well. Good. Did you get a run? No. Which one's the general? Oh, bugger. That fellow up there. And he's the one that's likely to win. Keep pulling back. Keep pulling back. Are they running? Good. Might hit them next. Bring down the thralls. Archers keep running. Ah, they're surrounded on that front. They're going to die. Both of those are going to go. Always that bloody way. Melee bloody units dying left and bloody right. Right, the thralls are holding out. But we're keeping the Angmarim infantry at bay, which is nice. Turn on those pikes. We've got a melee unit fleeing. Alright, give those all you can. You keep on those thralls, there's only 58 of them. You bring down those pikes.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Hillmen there losing. How are the Angry infantry doing? Under the hail of 3 different volleys. Should be going down quite nicely. Kill them all. Massacre their families. And burn their villages to the ground. Let the Angmarim know forevermore the stain of the Dunedain in their lives. How are we diddling over here, fellas? Yeah, those wardens. Look at the stats of the wardens. 17 defense, 7 attack. What is killing you off so easily? Why are you so rubbish at this?
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Oh, there's infantry. They're going. They've had enough. If someone ran into them right now, they'd go. But I really don't want to lose any of these two for no real reason. Well, the general can get involved, actually, but it's not really worth it. Right, Ruidau savages coming through. Oh, we've broken most of them, actually. Let's move those savages off. Who's moving in on you? 26 thralls. Alright, they've finished over there. I really want to go to ×6. The temptation building inside of me to boost the speed on this thing up to ×6 is so high. You don't understand how much willpower it takes to not play these battles at ×6 speed. It is so alien to me to actually care about these battles, which I know sounds so silly for a YouTuber who is here to promote the mod and give you all fun and light-hearted enjoyment. But battles and the micro in battles is something I just don't find all that enjoyable. Never have done. I mean, here we've shown again that it's incredibly effective, but we have lost almost all of our melee complement, so it's not that effective. Oh, and they did get to our Dunedain. One of them's died. Just seen him go. All right. Now, if we can somehow get our melee forces out from up here, I think that's going to be the plan, isn't it? Run the archers in. Now we can time 6 it, because now we're just... oh, they're running away anyway. There we are, that should be the end of it. I can't... 75 of them ran away, that's so many. And who is chasing you? What? Leave me alone. I trust you are actually targeting the units that are running at you. Yes.
This is a clear
682, 170 Breland Militia, 194 Breland Militia, that's okay. Acceptable losses, 123 Breland Militia, again, fine. It's just the Wardens. The Wardens losing so many. The Wardens just are not good. What is it about them that is so awful? Have they got a ridiculously high anti-cav stat or something that's just drastically ruining their strength against infantry? I mean, I know they were against Rudau's Savages, and Savages are good against units like that, particularly highly armed units, which ours are, highly armoured. That's the point of armour-piercing units, is it not? To cut down and kill those armoured units. And so the Savages are doing what they are set out to do, what they are born to do, bred to do. But I'm just amazed at how bad the Wardens are against it. What is your armour stat? It's only 5. So 7 and 5 is... They've got a 13. Remove armor piercing from the equation and they still have a base 13 defense. 12, sorry. 12. How are they dying so easily? I just don't understand it. It's just... It doesn't make any sense. Righty-ho-ho.
Yes, my lord.
Hiking Aragorn. We are allied with the Gondorians now. So, oh, Stuart Denethor's still alive. Oh, if we get in their early doors, then Aragorn and Denethor will rule Gondor together.
My lord.
Denethor famously saying that he will not bow to this ranger from the north in the films. All right, Harold is going to hit Ostsul, and he thinks he's going to win it, but we've got the extra defenders, and I think that should be enough to defeat those. We don't have any archers, which would be a bit of a pain, but remember that even melee units get a bonus fighting downhill. So hills, particularly the Amun-Sul hill, as you all pointed out, is incredibly steep, and so your melee units get a bonus. I don't think there are gradients to that bonus. I don't believe that the shallower the hill, the lesser the bonus, and the steeper the hill, the greater. I think it's just, is one unit above another unit? If the answer is yes, then the higher unit gets a melee bonus, which makes even weaker units stronger. Ooh, Moria's under siege. Darwinian Resplendent, nice. Nice. Variags have canned. What? How near to them am I? What? What? The Variags have got Barad Hard. What on earth is going on down there? Well, we'll find out soon enough because we'll own everything down here in a moment.
Your orders.
We don't want to move Aragorn into the Pelennor then until we've taken Osgiliath, because as soon as Aragorn stands in the Pelennor for 4 turns, we get all of Gondor, and we don't want that just yet. Oh, Angmar dilly-dallied. It took too long.
Your orders, my lord.
Do we just fight them, get it out of the way, and then we can get our troops back into the forts? Probably, because we could do with the money. Calling me a coward. Calling me a coward when his army has just been routed by us, quite convincingly so. And yet he still has the audacity to stand there and throw words of war at us. Angmar still don't have the North Downs or the Rudau Uplands. 37 turns in. Colonia, oh, that's only got 4 turns. Very tempted to just let that siege out, actually. Very tempted to let that siege out.
Your orders, my lord.
I think what I might do is now move one of those off to join into their army to add another archer, because they've only got... Oh, they've actually got quite a few. Well, they're only 6 woodland hunters. Yeah, I think we need to hit Harold. Let us hope he follows the same fate of Hardrada. and dies on a bridge.
Your orders, my lord.
Although, did Harold Hardrada actually die on the bridge? I don't think he did he? Anywho,
Yes,
that's a
my
very
lord.
Anglo-centric piece of history.
As you command.
Captain Harold. 2 thralls and 2 Hillmen. Now, Hillmen, we've just seen, are really, really bad. Very low morale, very low desire to fight and die for Angmar. The thralls are a bit better. Were they thralls, actually? Or were they normal Angmar infantry? I can't remember. Forgotten already, and it was only about 30 seconds ago. Less even. Probably about 10 seconds ago. Anyway, the Hillmen are rubbish, and we can kill the Hillmen with our archers very easily. Once again, an archer-free enemy army. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, they are thralls. Oh, brilliant. Now, here's the question that is ever on our lips, or in our minds, rather. Do we target 1 unit each, or do we mass fire into a single unit? I'm of the mind, personally, to target 1 unit each. But who can hit the Hillmen at the back? That's the question. Can you hit the Hillmen at the back? Because you're probably going to have to. So you take out those Hillmen, that's not a problem. There you go, you can hit the Hillmen behind. Right, there we go. 6%. Alright, and so it begins. The running away is in effect. Now, who's their general? Fellow at the back. Alright, how are we going to go about this? That was good shooting on the thralls. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Our melee units over there are holding much better than our bloody Dunedain again. These wardens are going to be the death of us in this campaign. These Bree Archer militia absolutely living up to them. Oh, I didn't check who got the kills in the last one. We didn't give out a golden sword. I'm really hoping that these guys actually just pull it out the bag. Silent victors in the background. Creating a lovely little channel of death there. But actually, on that information, probably not that great. 2 full volleys of Archer militia, and they only killed 20 enemies. If we rush them now, they'd probably break, actually. We've opened up the Dunedain on them. Right, let's get you to come over here and stand behind these thralls and just open into those, and we'll leave you doing that for the rest of the game. We can try and make the Dunedain skirmish, but I just don't think it's worth it. I really don't. I think if we just keep skirmishing them manually, and let's get you and go involved in this side. So now that you're in position, stop and fire on them. Let's get you to go over there. And let's get you... Oh, why are our units so awkwardly distributed? Oh, bugger. No, you're going to need to hit those thralls. Oh, look at this. I love a good little firing squad. They might break. Something I've seen the AI do sometimes when you do that with archers, if you stand a little bit too close, sometimes they break formation from what they are attacking, i.e. the Brelan militia, and they target the archers. Something that I've seen before. How are you guys getting on? Ah, they did move in on you.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Warden's doing a little better this time. Our archer militia did get caught, but I don't think it matters because there's only about 46 thralls. And now they're getting shot in the back where the shield stat of them does not apply. Similarly over here, holy hell. Just end it, boys. End it. Pull out your little daggers, whatever sorry excuses you have for swords. Well, use your fists if you fancy. Go on then. Go and bop them on the head. Oh, look at that guy. He's having a little celebration to himself. Yay, go me. Well done, little Bree Archer militia. Well done indeedy. Right, they've been broken. Let's stop killing our own, which we're probably doing now. Rejig those. Fire at will. There we are. Firing squad is being set up. Our wardens are going to act as the anvil. And unfortunately, this isn't the kind of anvil that a blacksmith would use, where the hammer doesn't chip it, nor damage it, nor ruin its integrity. This is the type of anvil that one might chop wood on, made of wood. And it's constantly whittled away by the actions of the axe. This is all a very flowery metaphor for saying, I'm going to shoot my own units in the back, but it's necessary evil. They're useless anyway, as we've already worked out. Wait until we get to the later stages of the game, you get some real Dunedain in.
Behold how our cowardly foe runs. It's time.
We've still got some arrows left. Don't let them go until every single man has an arrow sticking out of something. Hillmen are actually a unit that we can recruit, but if memory serves, and again this is choppy memory, if memory serves, they were changed so that you can only train Rudauer units when Angmar is defeated.
As the day of our most glorious victory.
Our general got the most kills at 191, which is pretty good. Second, Dunedain Rangers, as you might imagine, and unfortunately, no, the Archer Militia. Oh, that one's the reinforcements. We didn't even use him. We'll let him off. 67, though, that's not great, is it? And 93. Sad times. That face always makes me... That loading screen is a little stark, a little severe, and gives you little warning that it's coming. Right, that's Angmar dealt with. We keep marching the army of the dead on to Eastern Osgiliath then. We're going to have to fight more during this campaign, I'm afraid. There is no way around it. It is going to tread on the toes a little of the Ardenheim campaign. But we will also be fighting Angmar at the same time. So there is some newness to it. Let's definitely put the Dunedain in there, because we might be able to retrain them if we get the money up. Definitely give me more Archer Militia. And then you guys just pop in there. Still losing money hand over fist, but that at least has eased the blow.
An order.
Alrighty.
Your orders, my lord.
Minas Tirith reached, Osgiliath reached. Ah, bugger, we're going to have a trouble. Getting across to Eastern Osgiliath is going to be an issue. Someone also asked, can the King of the Dead raise siege? And yes, they can. They're just infantry units. They're just an army. They're just incredibly overpowered infantry units. So they can raise battering rams and the like. They cause complete havoc with the AI's calculations of are they going to win. Because, of course, the AI, when it's working out if it's going to win or lose a battle, in essence, it runs an auto-resolve calculation. So it just calculates what would happen if you attacked and auto-resolved. Yes. And invariably, if you auto-resolve against the Army of the Dead, absolutely nothing beats them. They are quite literally unstoppable.
I've tried whipping them with the men of
Ooh, Dorwinian and Eastlings. And because of that, the AI then, in essence, never attacks them, because they just always think they're going to lose. Although I'm speaking with great authority here, and speak with confidence in all things, because you should always do that, because then everyone will believe you. But it has actually been many years since I played with the Army of the Dead. Oh, why did I do that? He can't even build towers. Idiot. So they might be a little different now in their behaviour, but certainly when I last played with them, which is probably well over 2 or if not 3 years ago, the AI did not like auto-resolving against them. Now we could do with Western Osgiliath falling, actually. Oh look, there's some of the new unit cards on display. We could do with Western Osgiliath falling so that we can capture that with the army and then Eastern with the army as well, and then hold from there. But if Denethor's still alive, I would have thought that Boromir and Faramir probably are still alive. I'd be surprised, although Boromir's normally the governor of one of the 2 Osgiliaths, isn't he? Or does he start in the fort? I can't remember. Faramir starts out in Ithilien. In Heneth Anun, doesn't he? I think so. It's been a while since I've looked over the starting conditions of Gondor, but I'm sure they both start in either Osgiliath or Ithilien. Oh, and Gondor have succeeded. Fantastic. Right. The army should be able to move across. Now, I will, and many of you, again, will probably... Oh, there's Faramir. Let's speak of the devil. Many of you will scream at me. But, again, not too... Oh, I hate it when you do that. Oh, I'm going to do it right now because I just absolutely hate that. That boils my blood. Particularly the bloody army of the dead. Gondorians aren't going to stop you moving, are they, you stupid idiot? I think he is actually called King of the Dead. But I could be very wrong, and I likely am. This is going to be a pain to move him. Yeah. Oh, what's your name? Let's try King Dead. Nope, that was never going to work, was it? What about just King? No, we can't reset him because we don't know his name. Oh, we didn't try King of the Dead with no spaces. Nope, that's not his name either. Ugh, what is his file name? I just don't know. I just do not know.
An order.
Oh well, he'll have to sit there for now. There's another turn added on to the time it's going to take him to get to Osgiliath. But that's fine. Dunnan don't seem to be moving into support Colonia, and it's only got 2 turns left. Oh, and Will's come over. Hello there.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, and so's Angmar.
Be gone.
Getting bored of losing at Fornost, are you? Thinking that you might come down here and have a go at us? Well, you won't get in. We will defend Ostsul. That's really annoying about the King of the Dead. I'll have a look, because the episode's about to draw to a close, and I'll have a look in the files and take note of his name so I can move him. Because we're probably going to have to cheat move him onto the bridge between the 2 Osgiliaths so that we can attack the eastern one. I hope... Well, no, those that don't like cheating will just hate it. But the rest of you can understand that no one's really going to block the passage of the literal army of the dead. So I don't think it matters.
Yes, my lord.
Hello, Cand. Would you like trade rights?
I accept.
I
You would
accept.
speak of something more?
I see little. Very well.
Yes,
Not interested in the map information, though.
without question. I shall
Oh,
continue
they have the
tomorrow.
Straits of the Anduin as well as the Mirland Gap. That's interesting. I've got 1 unit of Breland militia. Clans of Eddard Wythe have gone to war with Moria, of all people. Over the control of Byrig, I assume. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. Did not expect that. Oh, and it's Ed.
I would fight for your people as if they were my own, friend.
Ooh, Moria took the Rudauer uplands. Shrinking the border between us and Angmar further. That's handy.
Yes.
Very, very pro that strat. Yes, it's going to have to be so, isn't it? I am going to have to move... Oh, did the army that did swim? Yes, because they go in the boats, don't they? So they... Yeah, I'm going to put them there for now.
As you command.
Well, let's move them off of the port.
Yes.
And I will... Because I'm going to end the episode now. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to remember. I'm going to open my book so I don't forget. And I'm going to find out what his name is. And I'm going to cheat move him over that river. And then we'll attack Eastern Osgiliath from the eastern side. Because I think the game's going to be too clunky and finicky to get me to attack on the bridge. So we'll hit from the east. And then we're going to see the absolute carnage when they try and attack us with these huge armies. And 1 unit of 250 dead ghost people wipes out absolutely everything in sight. Halbrand will take Glenik on the next turn, and then we'll be knocking on the door of Tharbad, which is what we wanted all along for that, which will give us, hopefully, a good little eco balance up here. And then... I think the next episode probably will have... Well, the next episode is the live stream, of course. So it absolutely will happen. The live stream will probably be the point that we reform the Reunited Kingdom. So do stay tuned for that. And as I've mentioned before, and as I'm going to do moving forward, the live stream will now just be at some point on Saturday morning, my time. And it'll be, the earliest it'll be is probably 9 o'clock, my time again, and the latest will be 11. And it'll be an hour and a half whenever it is, but I'll just now do it as soon as I wake up rather than waiting for a fixed time. I hope you don't mind. But unless I speak with you then, have a wonderful week, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, if indeed you have. And until we speak again, dear friends, Navair Naden Perimad Melonin, and farewell.